All right, I'm here to update the case yesterday. Yesterday afternoon at 12:35, Buffalo Police responded to a 911 call of shots fired, which ultimately escalated up to a shooting. When officers arrived on scene, they found two individuals that were down on the ground shot. One was on the front porch and one was in the street. It was a very active scene. While officers were en route, there were additional calls that shots were continuing to be fired. When officers got on scene, they found located witnesses that stated the subject ran right back into the house. So at that point, we'd surrounded the house and we were dealing with a barricaded situation. Officers were able to remove the victim from the street and get him to the hospital, where unfortunately he was pronounced dead at the hospital. The other individual was pronounced dead at the scene on the front porch. It was again at that time officers were holding the house, awaiting arrival of the SWAT team. We had SWAT team members that were on duty and others that were called in, and ultimately they set up on the house. We were waiting for a search warrant. We called in for additional resources, SWAT members from the Erie County Sheriff's Department, for some of the equipment that they were able to supplement to the equipment that we have, given the type of situation that we were dealing with. And we also had the assistance of Air One helicopter. We had to obtain a search warrant for the house, and when we made entry into the house, it was determined that unfortunately nobody was in the home. Detectives were out canvassing, and it was about the time that entry was made in the house that detectives were able to uncover video that the individual had gone back into the home, left the house, and that's the still images that we sent out to the media earlier today that showed a description of what this individual looked like. We are continuing to work this case. We have been working. As of now, we are sending a new video out, that continued canvas. We're sending a new picture out that will show an image of this individual's face, an individual that we are looking to talk to in connection with this double homicide. We also have a Crime Stoppers bulletin that just went out a little while ago, announcing a $7,500 reward for information leading to the arrest of the individual. That Crime Stoppers bulletin has the information of two of our community members that unfortunately were murdered yesterday, and has their information, their names on there. So with that, I also say just a short time ago, Mayor Brown and myself met at the Buffalo Muslim Center on Fillmore Avenue to meet with the community members, to talk with them inside their mosque and have a conversation with them about some of the things that we were doing on this case, what had happened, and to let them know that we're there for them. It's obviously they were very emotional. They were very upset. We're emotional, upset as well when anyone in our community is murdered, is gunned down, and we are working very diligently. As I said, we've had detectives working on this all night, all today. We've had our SWAT team out yesterday. We have our SWAT team out today that are also following up on leads. So with that, I'll take some questions.
Commissioner, the two victims here, what were their relation? I mean, were they known to each other? Did they live in that house together?
So to address the house is owned by a management company, and the information that I have received is that the house was for sale. The house was due to close next week. There were two workers in this house going to the home to clean out the house in preparation for the home closing next week. So they were workers. These were innocent people that were there to clean up the house, to do work on the house, and to get it ready for closing as a part of that sale. Someone in the home, and the information that we have right now is that it would be a squatter that was in the house, that when the one worker got to the door, that's when he was shot. The individual went back inside the house, came back out again, and then at that point shot the other worker that was in the street. So these were workers working for the management company that simply went there to do work on the house and prepare it for a closing.
So it's believed the person that carried out this crime was squatting in the house that had shot these two.
As I stand here talking to you right now, that is what we believe, is that somebody was squatting in the house.
And were these two victims from the Buffalo area? Did they live in the city?
So they have addresses in the city. One has an out-of-state license, so I'm not really sure at what point he would have moved in the city, but they have local addresses. They list addresses within the city of Buffalo.
Do you know which one of the victims was transported to the hospital?
Name-wise, I'll have to get that for you. It was the one that was shot in the street. We couldn't tactically and safely get to the one on the porch because we believed that we had an active shooter in the house, that we had a barricaded active shooter in the house, and that's what we were taking with our SWAT team. And unfortunately, it was determined with the use of some of our technology and drones that the individual was deceased on the front porch.
And that victim who was found in the street, was he trying to run away from the property? Is that how he ended up there?
That I can't answer at this time. I don't know how that scenario played out.
Okay.
Is the public in danger at this point?
Honestly, anytime we have a person that's out there that shoots two people, and that, by all accounts, randomly, and again, we don't believe this was targeted against this community. This was, as I stand here, we believe this was because they were trying to enter the home, that they, the workers, had a legal right to enter the home to do work on the home, and were confronted by a squatter in the house. We're going to call it a squatter in the house who ultimately shot them.
Did the neighbors reveal at all how long the squatter may have been there?
Don't know. So someone from the management company was in the house in the days leading up. Information on us is that they saw some evidence, some cigarette butts and some other things that led us to believe that led him to believe that somebody was in the house prior. But obviously at that point did not confront anyone, did not see anybody in the house.
Are detectives, have any idea who this might be, or is that why the public's input is going to be so important on this?
Well, the public input is going to be very important, but as I said to you now, we are sending out right now as I'm talking, we are going to be sending out a picture. As part of our canvas, we've located a very good picture of this individual's face, and that is going out to the community right now. So anything we get, we will push out in an effort to identify this individual. And as I said, we've got tactical teams, patrol officers and detectives that are out scouring the neighborhoods for this individual. And we also have the Mayor's Impact Team was called in today, going along, and they're boarding up some of the houses that we're checking out as well.
That video that was captured of the, are we calling him a suspect at this point? Right.
Right now we're calling him a person that we want to identify and a person that we want to talk to.
Okay. Was that video captured off of the house where he was squatting in, or they were squatting in? Was it?
It was part of a surveillance video in our canvas that we out. So we, as a normal course of business, we're out looking for home video, for commercial video. Obviously, we have our city video cameras. That's why it's so important for anybody out there that has video cameras. Make sure they're functioning, whether it's a Ring doorbell, a DVR system. Make sure they're functioning. If they're battery operated, make sure that the batteries are changed. Make sure you save it for a longer period of time, because it takes us a little time to go around and to check all the houses and look around and see what cameras, who has video. So it's important for people to keep their equipment updated.
Do you have any advice for the people living out there right now while this person is still at large?
Well, look at the pictures that we sent out, the new picture that will go out. Do not attempt to confront this individual. If you see somebody out there, we want you to call 911 immediately. Do not attempt to confront them.
Is there an official description you're able to give of this person?
I just got the picture as I told you about it, so I'm giving you the information I have. So I'm trying to follow up on this as quickly as possible. So again, the image, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep updated as possible. The image we got again is from private cameras, and the one that you should have it by now is from private cameras. So again, do not attempt to confront this individual. We absolutely believe he's armed and dangerous, and we don't want anyone in the community to confront him. Call 911, get as best a description and direction as possible, but stay safe while you're doing it.
What's the most difficult part of these investigations for investigators?
The time from now until we get them and getting that cooperation from the community. Like I said, we're throwing every resource possible at this, but knowing that the safety of our community is at risk, until we get out there, until we find them, this is the challenging time for us. So we are working diligently to locate this person.
And as far as that squatter in the home, the home was empty by the time SWAT made entry. Did that person leave the building before SWAT got there?
Yeah, so the way it worked out, and looking at the cameras that our detectives, again, it takes time to get out and canvas and then actually get the video you're looking for.
Right.
We found that within a minute or two of the 911 call coming in, that he was already on the next street. So before our patrol officers arrived and were able to surround the house and take a tactical hold on the house, he had already made it out the back door. Unfortunately, they held the house as soon as they were made aware by witnesses that he ran back in the home, held the home, and we held the structure from there. But like I said, unfortunately, it was hours later that we obtained video that showed that he'd already made his way out of there.
Did he run out a front or a back door?
My guess is going to be a back door, since all the activity was out at the front. My guess is it was a rear door.
We had heard possibly that there was someone flying a private drone over the property during this incident. Did that hamper your ability to execute the operation?
We had drones out. I'm not aware of any personal drones. No one brought that to my attention, but we used our drones to on the onset initially to, to get eyes on the place and then continue to do that. We also had the use of Air One, the sheriff's helicopter was up, looking for any individuals. But again, when you have a situation like that, if someone does make it out of the house, the helicopters are our quarterback in the sky, and that's why it's so vitally important to have a helicopter up aiding and quarterbacking our efforts from the sky.
How long was the house held before entry was made?
From the time the 911 call, it was almost 4 hours. I think we had to wait for a search warrant. So we were holding the house, we were waiting for a search warrant, and as I said, unfortunately, the individual on the front porch had already passed, and we had to be very tactically safe. And we didn't need anybody else getting shot. We didn't need our officers getting shot. It's terrible how the situation laid out, but we have to be safe. But we were also again waiting for a search warrant.
Has the house been secured at this point again?
To the best of my knowledge, if it wasn't, it should have been, but we were working with the management company. It is owned, so it would be on the management company to secure that house, not the city. But they were engaged right away yesterday from the time our detectives were engaged. So they've been very involved, the management company.
Any further information on this person you can give us?
You have what I have right now. It's, the picture, you should have it by now, so.